Hey friendlies. So it's been 3 weeks since Capone passed, and yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better. I still cry a lot. I'm doing better, a lot better. I'm doing what my therapist called adjusting to a new normal. And I guess lucky for me, I am really good at change. I think that's why the nomad life suits me so well. I think because of my childhood being as chaotic as it was, I had to learn early on how to adapt to change. And so I think that's helping me right now. Still getting used to the aloneness, and it's been a rough week. It's been a lot of ups and downs. I'm going to talk to you in a minute about my ending up in the emergency room. So where am I? Grief is weird. Death is weird. I think the thing I'm struggling with the most right now is just how fragile, I guess, life is, and just how weird life and death are. I don't understand. It's just so hard to kind of grasp and comprehend how my dog, who I'm looking at videos like a month and a half ago, jumping and smiling and wagging his tail, and how he can just be gone. Just like that, he's just gone. I mean, of course it wasn't just like that, but it feels like it, right? In the big scheme of thing after 13 and a half years. And grief is just weird. So one thing about adjusting to my new normal is grasping, I guess, the freedom that I now have. That I don't have someone else, something else to take care of. That, for years, since I've been living in the RV, for sure, especially living in the RV, I couldn't hike as much as I wanted because he couldn't do more than a mile, really, especially the last year, and especially if it was hot out. And so that really limited me, and I felt guilty leaving him behind. I couldn't leave him behind if it was too hot outside for more than, maybe a half hour. And so I was really limited in the things that I can do. And yesterday I got to go out and kind of experience my new normal.
I'm gonna be alright. I've been caught in time. I want you to know that I love you so.
It does feel good to be out. I'm about 3 miles from camp. Guilt-free hiking. Not worrying about Capone being back in the rig. And just getting to see her in the silence, in the sun. And just be in the moment, which is nice. Well, being in the moment in between missing my dog. But I guess this is where I heal. Because this is where I came. Immediately. Well, after a bunch of TV.
Caught in time. I want you to know that I love you so. My friend, the skies are bright. I see orange light. I want you to know that I love you so.
So yeah, I got to go out for several hours, take my time, just wander through the woods and do a 6-mile hike, which I don't think I have done 6 miles since, remember the hike in New Mexico last year after I bought Phoenix. So it's been almost a year since I've done anything like that. And it was hard for me to go out for 4 or 5 hours and leave Capone behind. I think a lot harder living in an RV than living in a sticks and bricks. I don't know why. I mean, all he did is sleep, whether it was in the apartment or the house. Actually, in the house, he had access to the yard when I owned a house. But in the apartment, he also had access to the yard. He had a doggy door. But most of the time he slept, he'd lay on his bed and sleep. But, leaving him in for 3 or 4 hours in the tiny RV out in the middle of the woods, it just felt a little less secure, I guess. Well, even leaving my RV behind, I'm gone for 4 hours. My RV's parked, my home, everything I own is parked in the middle of nowhere by itself. And, there's a little trepidation that goes with that. But especially leaving Capone behind. And now I have the freedom. And while I can experience the freedom, I also have my moments of immense sadness and immense loss. And especially when I got back from my hike yesterday, I thought I was doing well, but it was pretty. The silence is extremely loud. The emptiness is very loud, and I really felt that when I got back last night or yesterday from my hike. Yeah, last night was a little rough. I think that anybody who has suffered loss and grief knows that it's very complex. The feelings of guilt, I guess. I don't want to be too happy. I don't want to feel too free because my dog is gone. And so I think that hits you too. Oh, it's just so complex. Grief is so profound. And it just hurts. It's hard to also grasp how something that isn't like physical pain can literally feel like physical pain. How it can hurt you so much. So these are all the things that I'm going through, and I'm sharing it just like I share everything, almost everything, not quite, but a lot of my experiences I share because I know I'm not alone. And oh man, I gotta tell you, I've said it, I keep saying it just like that, I gotta tell you, my goodness, the emails, heartbreaking, tear-jerking. Those of you who are sharing your stories of loss with me, whether it's a dog or a cat or, a loved one, sharing your stories of grief and sadness and loss with me. Boy, it's helping me to have hope and love for humanity. I gotta tell you, out of the thousands and thousands of comments and emails that I have received, every single one of them has been positive and kind and supportive and empathetic. I think the empathy is what is touching me, I think, the most in hearing your stories. I love reading your stories. It helps me to not feel so alone and to help me feel, I guess, maybe more normal in the process that I'm going through, and the articles and the videos that you've sent me, and I've read several of them, and they have really helped me. So, those of you who can be just empathetic and caring and love, sending me your love, just, I'm really amazed, too, that every single one I have received has been kind. So helps me believe in humanity again. So thank you. One of the things that my therapist suggested is, maybe changing up my routine a little bit. And so that's what I'm doing. It's kind of just coming naturally. It's not even necessarily a conscious effort.
Bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful.
And part of my new normal is coming out in the morning and finding a place to sit. And I just sit. I watch the birds. I listen to the sounds. And I just relax. I started doing this a few days ago, and I don't know if I do it to escape the noise. The giant sound of emptiness inside the RV in the morning. The giant sound of aloneness. So maybe I come out here to escape that. But there's also some peace that I can do this now without worry. Every time I went outside with Capone, part of letting him live his doggy life and be as free as a domestic dog can be, you know, and letting him off leash means I was constantly on guard, watching him, wanting to know where he was going, scanning the woods to make sure nothing was sneaking up on him, especially as he got older. You know, he would have been prime pickings for predators, so I never got the opportunity to just sit and meditate, I guess. I guess that's what I'm doing. I'm meditating. I mean, I had to protect him. That was my job. Isn't it ironic how we in life have so much fear about outside influences? Keep him on a leash for the bears, keep him on a leash for the cats and the rattlesnakes and the alligators and, you know, oh my God, he's going to get attacked and he's going to get lost and he's going to get this and he's going to get that. And in the end, it was something inside that I couldn't control that took him. And isn't that what happens so often to all of us? You know, and that's why I allowed him to have the freedom he had. If I had kept him on a leash and not allowed him to be the independent, curious, adventurous dog he was, I think I'd have regrets today. Because in the end, cancer took him. Something I couldn't control. Something I had absolutely no way of knowing or no way of controlling. And now at least I get to feel that, boy, he lived a full life. And isn't that what we would hope for all of us, for humans, for dogs, for our pets, for our loved ones? That in the end, we look back and say, yeah, but they lived life to the fullest. Capone lived life to the fullest. I don't know. This is just making me think a lot again about fears. You know, some fears are healthy, but when we let fears keep us from living the lives we want to live, then I think that's a big shame. And I think Capone would agree. He had a great life. Cheers, Capone. And today I'm feeling better. Oh, I haven't told you yet, have I? Check out where I was a few days ago.
It's official, my heart is broken. I've had chest pains the last few days, so I'm in the emergency room. Everything is fine.
Okay, so yeah, don't worry about me. I'm fine. The story behind that is about a week ago, I think the day after I shot that last video, I was driving down to stay with some friends again, and I had been having chest pains for several days, kind of on and off. And I'd had this kind of chest pain before, but it only had lasted maybe a day or two, and then it would go away, and it almost felt like a pulled muscle, so I never really worried about it too much. But last week it was 4 or 5 days, maybe 6. It was going on a long time, and finally the day I was driving down to meet friends where I knew there would be a hospital, it was actually pretty bad that day. It wouldn't go away. It seemed to be spreading. It seemed to be moving. I was driving and I thought my left arm was getting numb and tingly. It was probably just the driving. And I'm not a doctor person. I don't like going to the doctor. In fact, they've been nagging me for, I don't know, a year and a half to go in for my regularly scheduled preventative care stuff. I don't go to the doctors. I hate the doctors. I only go if I really think something is really serious, and then I usually wait a while. So I decided as I was driving, I'm starting to get a little nervous, just with all the stress that's been going on and everything. And I'm also thinking I'm vegan, and there's not really any heart disease in my family. I can't be having a heart attack. I can't be having a heart attack. But I decided that when I got where I was going, I would call the advice nurse and let the advice nurse decide. And I did. Actually, I pulled into the hospital parking lot, and the advice nurse was like, yeah, you need to go to the emergency room. They don't mess around when it comes to chest pains. So 4 hours in the emergency room, and an EKG, a chest x-ray, tons of blood work. Everything came back completely normal. I'm healthy as can be, just like I thought. And they kept me for a while, kept me monitored, checked my heart enzyme a couple of times. I had been suffering heartburn, which I don't normally get heartburn, but I'd also been eating like crap. So we'll get to that in a minute. But I'd also not been eating well. I've been staying with friends, and they've been wanting to make me comfort food. And so I've been eating things I don't normally eat, things that I know cause inflammation, dairy and wheat. And we'll get to that in a minute. So I got a little ahead of myself, but so anyway, I've been eating things, and so I was also having heartburn when I never get heartburn. So they gave me, in the emergency room, they gave me a cocktail of something to help my upper GI. That didn't help it at all. And they thought, well, okay, everything is normal. There's nothing wrong with your chest x-ray, nothing wrong with your EKG. So maybe it's just inflammation around your heart, which is called pericarditis. So they gave me a shot in the arm, which really freaking hurt. Of a super powered anti-inflammatory, and that seemed to help. Like within the bush next to me just moved, and it thought it was an animal. But that seemed to help. Like within a half hour, I started to feel it, like the pressure go away a little bit. But it didn't completely go away. It was still a little bit there, but literally like within 24 hours, it was feeling a lot better than it had in days. And like I said, when I was laying there, I really thought at the time when all the tests came back normal, I really think it was just my heart was broken. I was just suffering from a broken heart. So I've been reading up on pericarditis ever since, and it totally makes sense that that's what it was. I was eating foods that I know cause me inflammation, and one of the other causes of pericarditis is, what do they say? Inflammatory diseases such as rheumatoid arthritis. And I am starting to get, I think, rheumatoid arthritis in my fingers. I don't know if you can tell, but they're really stiff, and sometimes they don't even want to move, and they're starting to get out of shape. You can see they're bending funny. So I think I've got rheumatoid arthritis now, and that is one of the things that causes the membrane around the heart to get inflamed. Interestingly enough, though, since I've been back on my normal eating, my vegan, gluten-free diet, this isn't as stiff, and my heart pains, my chest pains are pretty much gone, not completely. I've been taking one aspirin every day, and that does also seem to be helping. So it's nothing serious. It's nothing major. I'm not having a heart attack or a stroke. It's just an inflammatory thing, which I have said a million times. I have problems with inflammation, and I know a lot of you keep sending me your remedies for inflammation. My remedy for inflammation is just not to eat the foods that I know cause inflammation. It's quite simple. It's hard to do, though. You know, when I'm with friends and family and people want to cook for me, you know, and I'm not going to say, you know, well, if you cook for me, it has to be this and this and this and this, you know, especially my 80-year-old friend, Janine, you know, thank you. You know, I really appreciate that they want to cook for me the things they love to cook. And I had shrimp pasta and it was amazing. It was so good. And maybe in the future, I just know ahead of time that if I am going to eat something like that, that maybe I'm going to need to take something for inflammation. I actually did buy Benadryl while I was there because I was feeling the allergies. My eyes were puffy. The cleaner my diet, the harder it hits me when I go astray. So yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry about me. That was just my little 4-hour emergency room visit. Can't wait to get the bill for that. That ought to be fun. I'm sure, yeah. Anyway, that's another story. But nothing major. Gosh, I can't even remember the last time I went to the emergency room. Oh, yeah, probably about, oh my gosh, 12, 15 years ago. I was cooking. I'd maybe had too much to drink while I was cooking. And sliced off the tip of my finger through my fingernail. And they glued it together. That was the last time I went to the emergency room. So, yeah, so as you can tell, I'm doing better. It's going to take a long time, like many of you are telling me who've lost pets, and I lost my JT a bunch of years ago, and it took years to get over it, and Capone, you know, as someone very dear to me said, I got 2 lives. I got 2 doggy lives with Capone. He lived to be almost 14. You know, that's almost 2 doggy lives for some dogs, so I'm pretty lucky. I'm pretty lucky that I got to have such a special companion, a special friend, such a special dog. Really, he was such a special dog. And, yeah, just my, that's where I'm at. Life. Ain't it grand? I am enjoying being here. For those of you who are curious, yes, I'm back in the lower 48. I'm not sure how much you want to know, because I don't know if it's going to ruin the rest of Alaska if I tell you too much now, but I think I will save it. I didn't find out that Capone was sick until I left Alaska. Actually, I was in Whitehorse, Yukon Territory. And then anyway, I'll save the story. It was a rough trip back, to say the least. There was a story there. I was looking through some of the footage that I shot the other day. I don't think I'm going to share it. I was shooting it at the time. So, what was I watching? Alone. Season 3 of Alone the other day. And one of the contestants, I think in the final, the host said, the camera becomes your friend, right? And the guy was like, oh yeah. And I've said this before. I said it in, years ago before I even started making videos when I was traveling in Greece and Europe. Your camera is your friend. For those who travel solo, this is your friend. This is what you share this beautiful view with. This is what you share your travels and your tours with, and it becomes your friend. And I think that's why, for me, it doesn't necessarily always mean that on the other end of that I share it on YouTube. I've got a lot of footage that doesn't get shared, but my camera is kind of always with me. It's become like an appendage of me. And so I did start filming, I think, because it was like sharing it with my close friend, turning on my camera and sharing the heartache and the terrible news with a friend. And traveling with Capone those last couple of weeks, sometimes I'd turn on the camera maybe so that I didn't have to go through it alone. I didn't know at the time. I thought I might share it. I thought I might make a video out of it to bring you all along. But now I think watching it, I think it'll just be tearing open a wound. I think it'll be too much. You already know he's gone. I think reliving his last days on video like that, I think I'll tell the story eventually. Maybe when I get to the end of the Alaska journey, I'll tell the story, because there is a lot there. I had problems with the RV. I'm trying to get Capone back, and my refrigerator died. I had to put a new refrigerator in. I woke up one morning with 2 flat tires. One side, both dualies were flat. And then I had engine trouble. I had no power at all going up hills, and the transmission light went on, so I had to fix that. And just recently, again, I had to replace I had to replace 1 tire, and I went ahead and replaced both. So, I was dealing with Capone, and life went on. And boy, I don't know if anybody else, but it seems like when it rains, it pours. Here I was grieving my poor buddy, and shit just started falling apart with my RV. It was a rough couple of weeks, and I don't know that. I think it might be too much to share the details of video with that. I don't know. So I think I might just tell the story and just kind of leave out the me sobbing all the time video and Capone being sick. He had some good days, but he had some really bad days too. So thank you all for being on this journey with me. It's going to be different. Getting used to a new normal. Finding a new normal. Embracing my aloneness, my soloness, my freedom. I don't know that I'm going to keep doing check-ins like this with you every week. I might get back to FAQs, or maybe next week I'll tell the story. I am feeling more like working again, as you'll see in this video I actually shot. I'm feeling creative again, and it's, kind of helping me maybe find my new normal. Still a huge giant void, and I know there will be for a long time. So, I wish I could just give you all a big hug. The support, I like I said, I'm just so humbled and so honored and so touched that little old me, with all my faults and all my crap that a lot of you don't like about me, you still took the time to write, to be kind and supportive. Me, little old me. So thank you. All right, before I get too sappy here, I was hoping this would be a better, more upbeat video. I'll see you soon. I hope you're enjoying the kind of the tail end of the Alaska trip videos. I'm babbling now. I'm gonna go. I'll see you soon. In the meantime, be happy, be free, be kind, love, love, love. Love like every minute is your last. And live like every minute is your last. I'll see you soon.
We can sit together. It's so beautiful. You and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Sometimes you need to go and take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell